Deputy Tobin Bolter is our deputy, and we're devastated to say he did not survive his injuries, and he passed away moments before this press conference.
Our hearts grieve with the family, friends, and loved ones of Deputy Bolter.
There's nothing in this story that causes me to rejoice. The injustice in this world is pretty much off the chain, and unfortunately, the ones perpetrating the lion's share of that injustice happen to be wearing uniforms and have titles like prosecutor or judge. If you doubt that, look into the commissions of the past assigned to investigate systemic fraud and rampant criminality within police departments like the NYPD. On Saturday night, this man, 27-year-old Ada County Deputy Tobin Bolter, died after he was shot during a traffic stop. Bolter had pulled over a gray Chevy Suburban in Boise just before 9 p.m. and was shot as he approached the driver's window, according to the Ada County Sheriff's Office. The driver, a 65-year-old man who they claim was wanted on a misdemeanor warrant, reportedly sped away after the shooting. A citizen who witnessed Bolter get shot called 911 and rushed to the wounded deputy to perform CPR until medics arrived. Bolter was then rushed to a medical center in Boise, where he died on Sunday. Now, before we highlight some of the police reactions to this shooting and how it's notably different from the reactions they have when one of their own eliminates one of us, a report that just came out says that Boise police quickly located the suspect's vehicle unoccupied and later found a man believed to be the suspect outside a home during a search of the area. And that's according to Boise Police Chief Ron Weiniger. Hopefully, they triple-checked the address and didn't shoot the wrong person. According to police, the man refused to surrender to the tactical unit and shortly after midnight fired at the officers. The police chief claims that only one officer returned fire, striking the man. And because history teaches us vital lessons, that report should be viewed as suspect. We know what happens when there's gunfire directed at cops and one cop starts firing. They all jump into the fray, and it's a rare case where there isn't some gratuitous mag dump by at least a couple officers. In our day and age, all it really takes to set them off is an acorn. This is Sheriff Matt Clifford. He's likely one of the 3,086 sheriffs across the land who, along with Sheriff Jim Skinner from the National Sheriff's Association, begged Dan Crenshaw to kill H.R. 1525, which would have limited their ability to engage in legalized armed robbery on the American people through civil asset forfeiture.
Hey everyone, I'm Sheriff Matt Clifford with Ada County Sheriff's Office. This morning I'm joined by our elected county prosecutor, some close members of our agency, and chiefs and representatives from across the valley. They're here to show support and to show just how closely we work together, because there are many agencies that are working on this case.
My question as I watch these press conferences where these officials dutifully stand behind the man at the lectern, my question is, how many Americans have these prosecutors, agencies, and law enforcement officials terrorized, economically destroyed, and unjustly caged? How many people are sitting in prison right now and they're absolutely innocent? And all because of these people. How many Americans have they harassed or even eliminated? Is it possible they might be covering something up here?
Last night at about 8:55 p.m., an ACO deputy made a traffic stop on a gray Chevy Suburban near Overland and Raymond in Boise. When he approached the driver's window, the driver shot the deputy and fled the scene. Video shows that the deputy never even made it to the window. The driver was 65 years old, and we do not know why he fled or shot the deputy. All we do know is he had a $3,000 misdemeanor warrant for his arrest. His identity will not be released at this time. A citizen saw the injured deputy, called 911, and performed CPR until medics arrived to transport our deputy to St. Al's. Deputy Tobin Bolter is our deputy, and we're devastated to say he did not survive his injuries, and he passed away moments before this press conference. Deputy Bolter has 7 years of law enforcement experience. He's been with our agency only since January. Deputy Bolter previously worked for Meridian Police and Pleasant Hill Police Department in California. While on our way to help the downed deputy, another deputy was involved in a 2-vehicle crash near Meridian and Amity. That deputy was transported to St. Al's, Boise, and is currently in stable condition. Driver of the other vehicle also was transported to the hospital. Idaho State Police are investigating the crash.
Is it possible they might be covering something up here? Could that cop rushing to the scene have been driving so erratically and irresponsibly that in an effort to save his pal, he put the lives of others in jeopardy? Is it possible that this cop could have inflicted serious life-threatening injuries on the other driver and they're just not telling us?
The suspect after the incident was located by Boise police, and there was a confrontation, and that suspect was shot and killed. And I'm going to let Chief Weiniger talk about that in a moment. Garden City Police Department is investigating that through our critical incident task force. Every time we have an officer-involved shooting, we deploy them, and it is Garden City on the lead for that investigation.
You can rest assured that they'll investigate their pals, sanitize the story, and put the best face on it for our heroes in law enforcement.
I do need to thank all of the folks behind me and all of the people all over Idaho, all the chiefs and sheriffs that have reached out. It's not just our community here, it shows what kind of a state we live in.
Now, as for all this emotion poured out for somebody who was likely engaged in foisting yet another successful roadside piracy operation, you don't see this kind of raw emotion pour forth when a Thin Blue Line member disembodies a fellow American. No tears were shed for Chase Allen, the young man who lost his life at the hands of the Farmington Police Department. And what was Chase's crime? He was driving without plates and a license. There were no moist faces when Mesa officer Philip Brailsford ended the life of innocent Daniel Shaver. No police chief got choked up or fumed with anger when recounting the horrific treatment of 72-year-old Karen Garner by her attackers Austin Hopp and Daria Jalali of the Loveland Police Department. And every law enforcement eye was dry when Arvada, Colorado police killed Johnny Hurley for no frickin' reason. And the kicker is, Johnny had just taken out the assailant that had just downed a police officer and was looking to take out others. Check out what Boise Police Chief Ron Weiniger says here.
Our sincerest thoughts and prayers are with the Ada County Sheriff's Office and the fallen deputy's family at this extremely difficult time. We also send our best wishes for a speedy recovery to the Ada County deputy who was involved in the crash and is still in the hospital at this time. We're thankful that no innocent, uninvolved bystanders were injured during these violent encounters.
Wait a minute. A bystander was injured and is currently in the hospital as you stand there and speak. Now, this may be a subconscious slip that reveals just how little they care about us and how much they care about themselves.
There is absolutely no excuse or justifiable reason for this violence perpetrated against law enforcement officers in our community. I am both angered and heartbroken at the same time. Approximately 9:30 p.m. last night, Boise police officers did locate the unoccupied suspect vehicle from the incident that Sheriff Clifford just described. A suspect believed to be the shooting suspect was then located outside a residence on South Jackson Street in Boise. Boise police issued a code red alert to those in the area and neighbors nearby, as well as making several additional personal contacts with people close by in that area in order to try and make sure innocent people and bystanders were not impacted. Our Boise Police Department Special Operations Unit responded when the subject was located and believed to be the suspect in the shooting. They attempted for quite some time to peacefully and safely take the suspect into custody. Shortly after midnight, the suspect fired a weapon at officers. A BPD officer then returned fire, striking him. The suspect was then given medical aid and transported by ambulance to a local area hospital where he was pronounced deceased.
This entire thing is unfortunate, and the sentiment of many commenting on this incident are saying things like, anyone causing harm to a law enforcement officer immediately goes to prison. Anyone causing death to a law enforcement officer dies immediately right after an immediate trial. It's time for consequences, and the consequences need to be strong. Well, what about cops who cause death to us? What should be done to them? It's open season for all great heroes coming to the aid of our beloved country. President Biden has yet another body to be held accountable for. Great heroes? Many who have had the thin blue line boots stomping on their heads and wrecking their lives would strongly disagree. Emotion aside, it's always good to ask, how much criminality was this guy actually involved in? How many innocent people did he help to cage? How many people in his short time as an agent of the state has he economically devastated instead of protecting and serving them? Does a story like this make you sad and angry? Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comments section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. If you haven't done so already, grab a shirt, become a channel member, but more importantly, know what your rights are and stand for your rights. If you don't flex your rights, you will lose them. I get it. Freedom is dangerous. The only thing more dangerous is not having freedom. I'll see you in the next video.